before they release it to public consumption.
Yeah.
Two really quick questions. The timeline, just so we understand it. On the 3rd, he was being treated for mental illness, correct, at a hospital. What was the motivation for police to go and take him out of there? Was he charged with anything? Was he formally arrested, or did they just go drag him out?
Mark, you go first,
Yeah.
then Caroline has something to say.
You're asking the question that we're asking. We see no reason for them to have transferred him to a jail. We don't know what the circumstances are. We don't know what their explanation for that is. It makes absolutely no sense to us. Yeah, we don't know the totality of it. And what I will tell you that even if there was a charge, in those circumstances, generally the person is held at the hospital for a 72-hour period. Even if there is an underlying charge, whatever they may say it is, typically those persons are not released to the jail.
Caroline has something to say on that there. And I'll say this. Taking him from the hospital to the jail didn't help his mental health.
Yeah.
Caroline?
I think, Caroline, you could walk
Yes, may I add?
a little bit too about
Good.
his mental health journey, like sort of, what's he dealing with?
Before she gets to that, she wanted to say
I'd
something to your
like to
last
clarify.
question.
I'd like to
about the
clarify
hospital.
about the hospital. When my son ended at Henrico Doctors Hospital, I kindly asked them to take him to St. Mary's, which is behind my house. But they insisted on taking him to Henrico Doctors Hospital. I followed them to the hospital. And at the hospital, I was there all through. This is approximately about 12:30 into the evening, when they whisked him from the back of the hospital to jail. The doctor who was treating him personally came out and told me that he was on him and treating him, and he was going to be all right. So they pulled him off treatment, took him to jail, didn't take him down there with any medicine.
Yeah.
That's where I ask why. Why did they do that? He was on EOC. He could have stayed at the hospital for 72 hours to be stabilized before all this movement started. And I was sitting at the reception of the hospital. I made 4 attempts to try to see him in the back. They refused me. They refused me to see my baby.
What did the doctor tell you about why they took him away?
The doctor, before I left the hospital, I asked him, may I see my son? Doctor, could you intervene for me to see my baby? He threw his hands up in desperation and told me, it's the police.
Yeah.
And you should also know that he was asleep for approximately 40 minutes.
Yes.
What
The doctor told me he was asleep for 40 minutes.
So-
he was able to calm
Right.
down and sleep for 40 minutes.
he was in a relaxed mode at that point.
Yes.
The first hospital. That's the
Henrico Doctors
Henrico
Hospital.
Harem.
How would you describe his mental health struggle? Has he battled depression?
I've had long stretches where you wouldn't even know something was wrong. And then, sometimes he went into what was happening with him when I took him to Henrico Doctors Hospital, when he just goes into, some kind of distress, and then he needs to go see a doctor. So, and he was, he's been living with that since high school, since last year of high school.
What prompted you to bring him there that day? Were you worried that he was going to harm himself, or that he
No,
was his parents?
No.
She didn't bring them there.
I didn't even take him there.
I mean, to the doctor. You brought him to Henrico.
I was calling my personal doctor. He has a personal doctor. And I was not on the phone with the personal doctor. And the assistant tried calling out for a mobile mental unit, and that wasn't there. So then that's how, yes.